Hello everyone, I'm Shivangi Agrawal, your law mentor, and this video, my dear, is for my CMA final law students, right? So you have very few days left for your examination, and at this particular point of time, either you might be done with the classes and starting with the revision, or struggling with the subject and don't really know how to cover the entire syllabus, because we all know that CMA final law syllabus is huge, right? It's insane. Some topics are very difficult and you might not be able to crack it well, and then all this anxiety and tension is actually freaking you out, right? So well, this video is going to be of immense help to both the set of students. You may use the sequence in revision or in learning, and basically increase your chance of excelling in your upcoming examination. Now, I would say one thing, that this particular video, let me take you through, it is much more than just ABC analysis, as I have highlighted the important topics in majority of the chapters, right? So how you have to use this particular file, or how you have to deal with it. Firstly, if you think that, okay, ma'am is trying to tell us that go for category A chapters and leave the rest, no, ma'am is not trying to tell you that. Ma'am is just trying to tell you that prioritize certain topics over others in case you're short of time. Even if you're not short of time, please keep this as your revision sequence, so that you don't miss out on something which we consider as more important, right? Now, how this consideration has been felt, this consideration has been felt over the analysis and experience and past everything, right? Okay, so we have certain category 8 chapters or topics. The very first chapter, company formation and conversion. There are certain types of companies which are important, on which detailed questions are also asked. And apart from that, all the incorporation part, the doctrines, the parts related to company incorporated outside India, all that is important, and you have to go through it, right? When we talk about the next chapter, investment and loans, we have actually two parts. Those sections are undoubtedly important, but here we are talking about the deposits part. So in deposits, basically duties of trustee, register of deposits, and terms of deposits, these are more important compared to the other sections. Okay, then we have dividend is a very small chapter, and I wouldn't recommend any student to leave this, for simple reason being, if you're revising this chapter, it can be revised in a span of just 1.5 hours, and if you're dealing with this chapter for the very first time, then you can do it within 4 hours, right? So why leave such a chapter which is interesting, which can be scoring, and which is small, right? Then coming to accounts and audit, because this is a chapter which students find huge, right? So I have highlighted a few sections. These are the sections which are written: the duties of auditor and applicability of CARO. In entire CARO, what I suggest is don't skip the applicability part. Rest reporting, you may leave it. Okay. Then directors and KMP, again I have highlighted certain sections. These sections you must go through, you must learn them. Board meetings, I haven't highlighted specific sections, but then of course the entire chapter is important. Compromises, the procedure for merger, both types of merger, the normal merger as well as the fast track merger. IBC, very 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 important. CG, very 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 important. If you are reluctant in CG, that ma'am, CG is something that we don't want to do, then of course CG is something where I have always recommended certain important questions and certain important topics. Please go through them at least. Okay. SEBI regulations, there are certain topics like conditions of IPO, book building, code of fair disclosure, kinds of takeover, open offer, and the obligations of the target company, of the acquirer, both, more importantly of the acquirer. Okay. Then you have FEMA. In FEMA, FDI and LRS is more important than the other topics. Cyber and MSCME, I haven't again highlighted the topics, for simple reason being they're very small chapters and can be done in a very short span of time. So if any question comes from these chapters, it is a welcome, and you can score full marks, right? If it's a question of 7 marks, you can get full 7 marks if you write it well. Okay, then coming to Competition Act, cartel, enterprise, the two definitions which you must keep in mind: anti-competitive agreements, abuse of dominance, combinations. These are the three which around which the whole chapter revolves, right? So you have to read that. CCI, division of enterprise and acts outside India, which have which come under the purview of Competition Act, right? Then we have category B chapters or topics, the leftover part of investment and loans, the leftover part of accounts and audits, the leftover part of directors and KMP inspection oppression. Again, these two chapters, although I have written in category B chapters, but again, there are certain very frequently asked questions like powers of inspector, right? There's some investigation into affairs by tribunal, right? So all those questions you can prioritize. Competition, the factors and others, SEBI regulations, others FEMA, others PMLA, SURFACE. There are three things which are important: registration of ARC, measures of ARC, and enforcement of security interest. Apart from that, all the leftover things are in category C chapters: insurance, IRDA, SURFACE, others, and Banking Regulation Act. We can say that these are the chapters which require more effort in comparison to the reward that we get and are not asked frequently. So that's why I put them in category C chapters or topics, right? So hope you find the file helpful, and wish you all the very best. Now, very few days are left, and I'm sure you all are engrossed completely in your studies, or ekdam jaan laga do yaar. All the best.